Peter Cook back here on Capitol Hill with Senator John McCain, the Republican from Arizona, who's been critical of the stimulus program from the start, and specifically some of these projects you and your colleague Tom Coburn have identified. Let me ask you a little bit.
Could I just mention
sure.
On recovery.gov, the White House does not dispute that they're in being. They're just claiming that study of exotic ants and cocaine for monkeys and all that creates jobs. Recovery.gov, which is the administration's website on it, people should go to these projects and then they can judge for themselves whether they're worthwhile expenditures of their dollars.
The project, the BP project in California, BP says that alone will ultimately create some 1,500 jobs.
It's not supposed to go start into construction until the end of 2011 to start with. And second of all, I'm not sure the taxpayers right now really want to give a lot of help to BP.
Well, let me ask you about the stimulus overall. Your own economic advisor in the campaign, Mark Zandi, you've probably seen this. He issued a report just last week saying, listen, without that stimulus, we might have seen a Great Depression.
Mr. Zandi, I also understand, wants to extend the Bush tax cuts. But, you know, I did not even meet Mr. Zandi, to my knowledge. My chief economic advisor was Doug Holtz-Aiken, the former head of the Congressional Budget Office. For them to trot Mr. Zandi out, who I hardly knew and was one of a whole group of people who signed up as, quote, advisors, is a bit ludicrous. People know who advised me, and certainly I don't agree with the philosophy of Mr. Zandi.
Well, let me ask you about those Bush tax cuts. We're going to hear from the Treasury Secretary later on today. Let me read you one of the excerpts from his speech at the Center for American Progress later today. Borrowing to finance tax cuts for the top 2% would be a $700 billion fiscal mistake. It's not the prescription the economy needs right now. The country can't afford it. Can we afford extending the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy?
Can we afford to raise taxes on anybody when we are in the worst economic situation since the Great Depression? That should be the question should be asked. I don't believe so. I think that no matter who you increase taxes on, it's going to hurt our economy. Let's extend the tax cuts. Let's extend them and then have a significant overhaul of the entire tax system. Let's fix the problems that are wrong. But to raise taxes now on the American people, big mistake.
Is the compromise here to extend them temporarily, say for a year or two? Some Democrats have talked about that.
Well, that may be something worth looking at, but it also puts into the whole atmosphere further uncertainty as when companies and corporations make decisions about long-term investments. I think most economists agree today one of the reasons why the economy is limping along the way that it is because the business community has no certainty. When's the next regulation going to come down? When's the next Obamacare going to be passed? When is the next tax increase going to take place? And so what they need more than anything else is an environment of certainty.
So there are some who suggest that adding to the deficit now is the ultimate in fiscal irresponsibility. That poses more threat to the economy than raising taxes on these top 2%.
That assumes, of course, that by increasing taxes, you increase revenues. That isn't always the case. In fact, if we would cut corporate taxes right now, I think that would be one of the best stimuluses we could have. Corporate taxes in America are the highest in the world. If somebody has a choice of going from here or to Ireland, where are they going to go? So I would say capital gains and corporate taxes are things I would look towards cutting.
Sir, let me ask you really quickly a defense-related issue just for our servicemen and women. Bloomberg's reported recently about death benefits being paid out by insurance companies right now, and maybe those payments aren't being done in the way some people thought they should be. I know you're aware of this story. Your thoughts on it?
Well, I think it's disgraceful on the part of the insurance companies, and we'll obviously have to be looking into it. Why they would do such a thing is still inexplicable to me.
All right, Senator John McCain of Arizona, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Taxes and spending, a hot debate here in Capitol Hill. Scarlett, and much more from the Treasury Secretary later today on the same topic.
All right, thank you so much, Peter. Peter Cook over on Capitol Hill. We're about 3 minutes away from the market open. Equity index future.